Hello, welcome to part 2 of responding to reading. Yesterday, I talked about how knowing how to break down the question as well as knowing a little bit about the text structure can really help us understand what we need to do before we tackle a big project, if you will, or a big task of taking multiple pieces of text or sources and then doing something with them like answering questions or writing a response. Today, and I kind of gave you a little hint yesterday that I was going to teach you some things to look for so you don't have to read a big article and yet you can still get the information correct. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. So yesterday we broke down the question. Today you will research an experiment involving elephants. So in the past, I used to teach my students to annotate on the text, right? But now everything's digital. And they don't really let you annotate when you're taking a standardized test. So what do? Well, I have found that they are able to let you use a piece of paper when you are taking a standardized test. So what I like to do is I like to write down a few things on this piece of paper. I'm going to see if my editing skills are good enough to actually combine two videos into one. So let's see if I can do that. So what you're going to notice is yesterday we talked about how there's going to be 3 different pieces of things that you need to compare. But today, let's only look at the actual text that we need to deal with. The first thing that I talked about is I really wanted to look at text structure. So I'm just going to put a big old TS on my piece of paper here, okay? And then the other thing that I like to think about is just your good old questions of who. You're going to want to look for did what. And that is really where you're going to look at some verbs. Okay, you're going to look for some actions, or we have these things called linking verbs. Linking, am, are, is, was, were. Okay. So you're going to be looking for the text structure, you're going to be looking for did what, and you're going to be looking at so. What was the effect? What happened after the action? What happened after the action? A, C, T-I-O-N, we want action. Okay? So we're going to look for that. So, okay, we're going to look for what happened after the action. And then finally, I'm going to put RW down here. So the RW is going to be what I like to call the RWs, the repeated words. And then there's like these little bonuses. So like bonuses are going to be like but words, or maybe what we might call the fanboys, but there's really a couple ones. But means that everything before this sentence, a lot of times this also gives us some clues, is either positive or negative, and then it's going to switch to its opposite. It's going to become negative or positive. And then and is almost like a plus sign. This plus this equals some sort of result. Okay? So those might be like a couple of little bonus ones that I might look for. Yesterday, we also realized we are going to be looking at 2 different pieces of texts. So you could maybe even draw a line down the middle of your page so that you can keep track of both articles as well. Okay? So this is kind of what it looks like. We've got the TS's, the text structures, the who, did what. We're looking for the actions. We've got the so like what happened after the action, and we have the RWs, the repeated words. And then there's the bonuses like but and. All right? Okay. So let's start looking at the text. I'm going to pull it up here. All right, here's the first article. This is a PARCC or an IAR practice test. Again, you're going to see the exact same wording that was on the PowerPoint yesterday. You're going to do some research involving elephants. So right away, I know my who is elephants. So I just jotted that down on my piece of paper there. Okay. First, you will need to read an article. Then you'll view a video, and then you're going to read a passage. We're not going to do the video today, but we are going to read the two different passages, or are we? Okay. Then you're going to answer some questions about how the sources present the information. Now, when this text question says present the information, when we look up there, that's our text structure, our TSs, okay? And yesterday, we did a little skimming and scanning. So if I want to, I could just say Article 1 and Article 2. I don't have to get fancy and put their names down or anything. But I can say that I remember from yesterday, Article 1 actually had two different kinds of text structures. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at this. If you remember my video yesterday, I'm just going to put CE, which stands for cause and effect. And then it had sequence. And we're not talking about those sparkly things on girls' clothing, right? We're talking about an order of things. First, second, third, etc. Okay? So it actually had two text structures. It had that cause and effect, and it had a sequence. The second one, when we skimmed and scanned yesterday, we saw the word, we saw lots of adjectives. It was talking about wood. It was talking about the length of things, which you're going to see again when we look at it again today. And so I know that number 2 was descriptive. Description. So I'm going to put that on here. But as I'm reading to myself, I'm thinking about why. What's the purpose of describing something about elephants, okay? All right, back to the articles. All right. So again, when you skim and scan, and I'm just going to use some simple things here, you can actually see, I like to do my who in green. Again, even just those repeated words, elephants, 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 elephants. I know now that that is what this article is about. Elephants. And then if I look at the action, it's in the title. That's a really good clue. Can lend a helping trunk. That's funny, okay? Elephants, no. And actions are generally after the word, not always right after the subject, but sometimes. Elephants, no. They cooperate. They understood, okay? Ooh, understood. I'm seeing a similar word down here called clever. So, now that I know about that, what elephants did what? They know. Now, if I'm taking a standardized test, I can't really do this. But when I'm not, when I'm just practicing for a standardized test, well, look at this. First of all, if I am taking a standardized test, what I can do is I can look for something called context clues. If I don't know what the word cooperation means, The word elephants is also very similar to the word here, two animals. Here, where my highlighter at? There we go. And what does it say that the two animals are doing? They are working together. So that's a context. Oh, and what are they working together to do? Why is this not highlighting for me? This looks interesting. They are working together to earn a treat. Okay. So what I might put on here is elephants know how to work together. How to work together. And then again, just by looking at some of that word there, to do what? To earn a treat. So again, if I can't actually highlight, I can take my notes here. Okay, they work together so that they can earn a treat. Okay, is there any other repeated words? That's what I'm going to look for next. I'll make my repeated words purple. And it doesn't need to be exactly repeated. It could be similar repeating words. So like, for example, I'm skimming and scanning. I'm seeing scientist. I'm seeing study. I'm seeing experiment. I'm seeing researchers. Researchers, what did they do? Okay, so here's also kind of a who, right? What did the researchers do? They upped the challenge. So these researchers, maybe I want to add that to my who. Elephants and researchers. And what are the researchers doing? They're the ones who are challenging the elephants. I wonder why they want to challenge the elephants, but let's see if there's any more repeated words or any clues about that. Again, I'm seeing lots of the elephant words over and over again, so we know that this is about elephants, right? Let's see. I'm seeing the word partner a lot. And I do remember at the beginning it said something about elephants can lend a helping hand by working together. So I'm just going to assume that this repeated word partner is equal to the elephants. Isn't that nice? So I just kind of have like my repeated word partner equals elephants. I'm also seeing that this might be like an experiment because they talk about researchers and they talk about scientists. I don't have to write every single repeated word down. I can just put in general what the repeated word might be trying to get at. So it's trying to get at the word experiment. Okay, so now I know that we have researchers. They are challenging the elephants to work together to earn a treat, and this is an experiment. Now, here's something that's interesting. I'm also seeing the word understood, and it says these are clever experiments. So I'm guessing what I would probably also do if I was writing on my piece of paper, and I might actually just jot this here. Let's see if I can move it and make it bigger. I'm going to create a nice little summary for myself. Let's make it a little bit bigger so people can see it. Let's see. Okay, so I didn't read this whole thing. I can say something like researchers are challenging elephants to work together to earn a treat to see if they are clever. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means smart. Okay, there we go. I didn't read the whole thing. let's see if I can answer the questions even though I didn't read the whole thing. All right, part A. The key term cognition or cognitive. Now, I'm not even if I don't know what even if I can't even read that word, we didn't talk about physical strength. We didn't talk about emotions. We did kind of talk about mental. Mental kind of goes with clever. So I'm going to say that I'm going to write these on the back because I've got a key on the bottom. Let's see if I'm right. I didn't read the whole thing. Let's see if I'm right. So 1A, I'm going to say is C. Now I look for mental, and I look for words that are similar to mental and clever or smart. Mental, clever, smart. Understand, know, recognize. That looks good. I don't think fail or experiments. None of the else works. So I'm going to say part 1B is A. Let's see if I'm right. Part 1B is equal to A. Okay, let's see if I'm right. I don't know. How does the photograph, there is no photograph here, help readers understand technical information presented in this article? Well, we want to think about, I don't know, there was no photograph. There might be there, but maybe it'll show how the elephants are waiting for their partners, because it was talking about elephants working together. Let's see if I got that right or not, especially when there was no photograph. So 2A, I'm saying A. All right, it says part B, which paragraph from the article understands? So we're looking for partners waiting for their partners. Let's see. Understand, elephant, partner. I'm going to say 2B is paragraph 3. So what letter is that? That is C. Let's see if I'm right or not. So 3, that's equal to C. All right. Now we're not going to do the video, so I'm going to skip the video questions for now. But you could do the same thing with the video, looking for the who, the what, the repeated words. And now we're going to move on to the second one. Elephants know. So again, we're really looking at those elephants. Oopsie doopsie, I wanted that to be green, not purple. All right, elephants, and what are they doing? They know when they need to a helping trunk in a cooperative task. We'll just say need a helping trunk. All right, so yesterday what we understood is that text number 2 was a description. Okay, but now we're thinking like why? Well, there was a little bit of a clue in Article 1. So sometimes you might want to read things. So it says here, to test the elephant's cooperation skills, a team of scientists modified a classic experiment administered first to chimpanzees in the 1930s. So when I'm looking at this piece of text here, the general setup of the experimental apparatus. The table apparatus was comprised of 2 pieces of plywood painted and bolted to a rectangular PVC pipe frame from a 3.1 mile, blah, 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 blah. Okay, wood, piping, 2.5. To be honest, this is where the other article gives us more of a clue as to why they were writing this descriptive article. This line right here. Why are they writing this descriptive article? Okay. basically, they are writing this descriptive article. I'm going to throw in a little text box here again. Let's move it so we can actually see it. Come on, text box, move. So, if people wanted to reproduce the experiment with other animals, they could. Whoops, what happened to my text box? There we go. Okay? So this is why, if they want to reproduce the experiment with other people, they could. Now, to be honest, it's like, okay, this one's not going to be as fun, I don't think. Okay, so we have some sort of table. That's the what? The table. The table. Okay, there's volleyball nets. There's metal rings, blah, blah, blah. Here's an elephant. Okay. So now we need to look at does what. The table was comprised, the table was painted and bolted. The table was placed between trees. The volleyball net was strung between trees. Set on the ground. Okay, I'm seeing more elephants again. So that the elephants could do what? They could approach and pull the table toward them. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of this apparatus. All right, I don't know. This looks like a lot of stuff. Let's see if I can just go on and do it. What does the word restrained mean as used in paragraph 4? Okay, so now I have to skim and scan and try to find what restrained means. I don't even know if I can find the word restrained. Wow. They should have highlighted it or bolded it. Huh. Here we go. Here's the word restrained. So then I just need to read everything before that. In these testing trials, 2 something stood at a releasing point with their elephants and restrained them by touching the ear or the front leg. And then they were released. So here was our clue. Restrained, then released. So if release means to free, restrain must mean to be held back. And then which word from paragraph 4 has the opposite meaning of restrained? Well, we just said that. Released, right? Okay. Oh, I'm going to see if I get this right without reading the whole thing. It was just asking me a vocabulary word. So 5, part A, I said was D. And 5, part B, 5 part B, I said was B. All right. In the explanation of the procedure, the author includes information that the elephants were released after the manhouts were given a hand signal that the elephants could not see. Why was that step included? Well, if elephants can't see it, maybe they're making their own choices rather than following a direction. So this one you can just kind of like take a guess if you want. You might have to go back and reread that one a little bit more in depth. So we're just saying 6. We're saying A is A. Now what we're doing is I'm also taking that from the articles that says that the elephants need to work together. So they want to make their own choices, right? Okay. What step in the purpose procedure serves the same purpose? So this is where I am going to match some words. I see this word, which I don't even know what it is. So I might look in part B for manhow. I might look for hand signal, and I might look for the word released. So I'm going to Manhao would walk with his elephant to give a signal. They stood at the releasing point. They turned away and remained silent. Well, actually, wasn't that up here? All right. So just looking for some of those similar words that they were released after the signal. Then they didn't want by using vocal commands. And we did read this one up in the when we were looking for the word restrain. So let's just say that 6A is A, and then we said 6A is A and 6B is B. All right, so that's how you can kind of like skim and scan and find some descriptions just by taking a few little notes. The big thing, did we get them correct? So 1C, let's see. Where did I put the other ones? That's funny. Oh, I wrote them on this side. C, A, got those correct. Very nice. All right, did I get the other ones correct? What was 5? D, B, A, I only got one wrong. C instead of B. So that's how you can kind of skim and scan and get a lot of them correct without actually reading the whole article. And then join me as we start gathering information to actually begin writing the essay that we need to write. Talk to you later next week. Bye.